In the annals of military history, the Battle of Kursk stands as a pivotal clash, a grueling struggle that irrevocably altered the course of World War II. It was not just another battle, it was a decisive moment that would shape the future of the Eastern Front. From July 5th to August 23rd, 1943, the Eastern Front bore witness to a confrontation of unprecedented scale and ferocity, a clash that saw the largest tank battle in history. The battle would forever etch itself into the collective memory of warfare, symbolizing the sheer intensity and brutality of World War II. On the rolling steppes of Western Russia, two colossal military forces, the German Wehrmacht and the Soviet Red Army, collided in a maelstrom of steel, fire and blood. The German forces, hoping to regain the initiative, launched Operation Citadel, aiming to encircle and destroy the Soviet forces. The stakes were high, for the outcome at Kursk would determine the fate of the Eastern Front and have profound implications for the global conflict. The Soviet victory at Kursk marked the beginning of a relentless push westward, ultimately leading to the fall of Berlin and the end of the war in Europe. The Battle of Kursk was not an isolated event, but rather the culmination of a series of events that had been building for months. It was a pivotal moment in World War II, where the fate of the Eastern Front hung in the balance. Both sides had been preparing meticulously, knowing that the outcome could significantly alter the course of the war. Following their devastating defeat at Stalingrad in early 1943, the German forces on the Eastern Front were in a precarious position. The loss at Stalingrad had not only cost them a significant number of troops and resources, but had also dealt a severe blow to their morale. The once feared German war machine was now showing signs of vulnerability. Their aura of invincibility had been shattered, and the Red Army, bolstered by fresh reserves and growing confidence, was on the offensive. The Soviet forces, having learned from their earlier mistakes, were now better equipped and more strategically adept. They were determined to capitalize on their newfound momentum and push the Germans back further. The front lines, however, had stabilized by the spring of 1943, leaving a massive salient, a bulge in the lines protruding into German-held territory around the city of Kursk. This salient was not just a geographical feature, but a symbol of the ongoing struggle between two powerful armies. It represented both an opportunity and a challenge for the commanders on both sides. This salient, stretching over 150 miles from north to south, became a focal point for both sides. A strategic prize that held the promise of turning the tide of war, the Germans saw it as a chance to regain their lost initiative, while the Soviets viewed it as an opportunity to deliver a decisive blow. The stage was set for one of the largest and most ferocious battles in history, a true clash of titans that would shape the future of the Eastern Front and, ultimately, the outcome of World War II. Please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel as we delve further into this historic battle. For Adolf Hitler and the German High Command, the Kursk salient represented both an opportunity and a threat. It was an opportunity to launch a decisive offensive, to regain the initiative and deliver a knockout blow to the Red Army. The plan, codenamed Operation Citadel, envisioned a pincer movement with German forces attacking from the north and south simultaneously, encircling and annihilating the Soviet forces within the salient. Hitler believed that a decisive victory at Kursk would cripple the Soviet war effort, forcing them to the negotiating table and allowing Germany to focus on the Western Front. The Soviets, however, were well aware of German intentions. Soviet intelligence, aided by intercepts of German communications, had provided detailed information about Operation Citadel. Marshal Georgy Zhukov, the brilliant Soviet strategist who had orchestrated the defense of Moscow and the victory at Stalingrad, recognized the danger posed by the Kursk salient and devised a cunning plan. Instead of attempting to eliminate the salient, which would have exposed their forces to German attacks, the Soviets decided to turn it into a massive trap. They would allow the Germans to exhaust themselves against deeply echeloned defenses and then unleash a devastating counteroffensive. The battle begins, a clash of iron and resolve. On July 5, 1943, Operation Citadel commenced with a thunderous artillery barrage. Thousands of German guns unleashed a storm of steel and high explosives upon the Soviet positions, seeking to soften up the enemy defenses for the armored onslaught to follow. The German attack, led by their elite panzer divisions, including the formidable Tiger and Panther tanks, slammed into the Soviet lines with tremendous force. The initial German advance, however, was met with fierce resistance. The Soviets had transformed the battlefield into a nightmarish landscape of minefields, anti-tank ditches, and interlocking fields of fire. The northern sector. A desperate German offensive. In the northern sector of the salient, the German Ninth Army, commanded by General Walter Model, made some initial progress, but they were soon bogged down in a relentless battle of attrition. The Soviet Central Front, under the command of General Konstantin Rokossovsky, fought with unparalleled tenacity, repelling repeated German assaults. The terrain in the north, characterized by dense forests and hilly terrain, favored the defenders, and the German offensive gradually lost momentum. Despite their best efforts, Model's forces were unable to achieve a decisive breakthrough. The southern sector, Prokhorovka, a tanker's nightmare. The southern sector of the salient witnessed the most intense fighting of the entire battle. It was a scene of relentless combat where the fate of armies hung in the balance. Here, the German 4th Panzer Division, under the command of Field Marshal Erich von Manstein, faced the Soviet Voronezh Front, commanded by General Nikolai Vatutin. Both commanders were seasoned veterans, bringing their strategic prowess to the fore in this critical engagement. On July 12th, near the village of Prokhorovka, the largest tank battle in history raged. The fields and hillsides became a cauldron of destruction, echoing with the thunder of cannons and the roar of engines. Over 1,200 tanks from both sides clashed in a maelstrom of steel, fire, and fury. The sheer scale of the battle was unprecedented, with tanks maneuvering in close quarters, often engaging at point-blank range. The battle, a chaotic and brutal affair, resulted in heavy losses for both sides, but neither was able to achieve a decisive victory. The ground was littered with the wreckage of destroyed tanks, a testament to the ferocity of the fighting. The German offensive, however, had been blunted, their armored spearheads shattered against the resolute Soviet defenses. Despite their initial momentum, the Germans could not break through, marking a turning point in the Eastern Front. Soviet counteroffensives turning the tide. With the German offensive stalled and their forces exhausted, the Soviets unleashed their long-awaited counteroffensives. On July 12th, the same day as the epic clash at Prokhorovka, the Western and Bryansk fronts launched Operation Rumyantsev, a massive offensive aimed at the German-held city of Orel, north of the Kursk salient. On August 3rd, the Steppe front launched Operation Polkovodets Rumyantsev, targeting the city of Belgorod, south of the salient. The Soviet counteroffensives, spearheaded by fresh reserves and supported by overwhelming artillery firepower, caught the Germans off guard. The aftermath of Kursk, a decisive Soviet victory. By August 23, 1943, the Battle of Kursk had come to an end. The German offensive, Operation Citadel, had been decisively defeated. Their hopes of regaining the initiative on the Eastern Front crushed. The Red Army, having weathered the German storm, had emerged from the battle stronger than ever before. The victory at Kursk marked a turning point in the war on the Eastern Front. From this point onward, the strategic initiative would remain firmly in Soviet hands. Strategic implications, the waning of German might. The Battle of Kursk had profound strategic implications for the course of World War II. The defeat at Kursk shattered the myth of German invincibility and exposed the limitations of German military power. The losses suffered by the Wehrmacht, particularly in terms of experienced tank crews and equipment, were irreplaceable. The Red Army, on the other hand, emerged from the battle-hardened and confident, poised to liberate Soviet territory and carry the war into the heart of Germany. Kursk's enduring legacy. The Battle of Kursk stands as a testament to the courage, resilience, and fighting spirit of the Soviet soldier. It was a victory forged in the crucible of unimaginable hardship and sacrifice, a victory that came at a terrible cost. The battle marked a turning point in World War II, shattering the myth of German invincibility and paving the way for the eventual Soviet victory in the East. The legacy of Kursk continues to resonate today, a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the courage of those who fought and died on the Eastern Front. If you enjoyed today's video, then please be sure to like and subscribe before you go. See you on the next historical journey. We are the Minutemen of history.